The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at WrestlingWithJohners.com.
Hi, this is Brad Marcus, and welcome to another episode of Toiletside Wrestling Talk. Today's guest hails from Moreno Valley, California, and began wrestling in 2006. Trained at the CWF Mid-Atlantic Dojo under Gemini Kid, Jesse Ortega, and Roy Wilkins. He's worked for such promotions as Carolina Wrestling Federation, Action, GCW, Beyond, Black Label Pro, America's Most Liked Wrestling, and I could go on. He's the current Action champion. He defeated AC Mack at Eyes on the Throne back in February. He's also held the CWF Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight Championships, TV Championships, as well as the Tag Team Championships. Shared the ring with the likes of Roy Wilkins, Cameron Grimes, Nick Barbary, Michael McAllister, Logan Easton LaRue, AC Mack, Adam Page, Cedric Alexander, and I could go on. So let's welcome today's guest, someone who has never eaten a golden retriever, the Ace Supreme, Big Arik Royal. Champion with his belt.
Very nice.
You know what? I was going to ask you later on in the interview, but I'm going to ask it now. After you won back in February, when you beat AC Mack for the championship, did you go was it just like a normal night where you went home after your match, or do you go out, or do you go to a mirror and pose with the champion, see how it looks on you?
Well, after you come off such a high of victory, especially winning this beautiful title here, when you're coming off a high like that, you got to have some time to decompress and unwind before you hit the road and head back home. So Ace guy, he definitely celebrated, but he celebrated with the people that he loves and cares about the most, which is himself.
Yeah.
And then after he was done decompressing, he took it on home, and then he celebrated with his family. And now Here we are, man. 108 days later. So
when you bring this home, do you get a little more not credibility, but some props for it? Hey, look what I did. Does anyone ever?
Well, when I bring things like this home, the family's not too impressed.
Really?
I'm just dad or
I guess.
So.
And have they seen? So you have kids?
I do have. I have kids. Yes, I do.
Have they seen you when you were in CWF?
Well, my daughter was just born in January, so.
Okay.
She has not. There has been a few clips out there though of when I wrestled Makabe. There's a picture of her watching the TV. She heard my voice. And
that's so cool.
Yeah, and there's another time where I was just wrestling a few weeks ago, or actually a couple weeks ago in Winston for AML Wrestling.
Okay.
And there's a picture of her looking at me, and then when I won, it looks like she's like has her hands up, like celebrating with me. So that was pretty cool as well. So
she's gonna love to see those when she gets older, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure, most definitely.
Because then she'll always have something to say. Oh, okay, I don't remember it, but I was there. Or, you know, that's
definitely.
Let me ask you a question. Do you ever feel, just walking out around town, going to dinner, do you ever feel physically intimidated by anyone?
Nah.
No.
Nah.
And I always ask everyone this too. Out of your non-wrestling friends, is there anybody who could like take you down to the ground?
That's weird to say because a lot of the people that I hang out with, like especially now, we're all involved in wrestling.
Sure.
So I mean, if you want to go back to like the high school days, if I knew anybody from high school, I mean, there's probably a few guys that could try, but you know,
they wouldn't have success.
A little bit. I know some of them holds now. It's different.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know some of them holds now. So yeah.
Besides, like kneeing someone in the nuts, like from back then.
Exactly.
Okay, let's go back a little bit. So, as we were talking, so were you born in California?
I was actually born in the great state of Washington.
Okay.
And then when I was about 5 years old, is when I moved to California.
Okay, and how long did you spend out in California?
Till I turned 18.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I migrated from Northern California, so the Oakland, Alameda area. I lived up there till I was about 9.
Okay.
And then from there, I moved with my dad in Southern California, so like Riverside, LA, Orange County.
Oh, wow.
I moved down there when I was 9, and I lived there until I graduated.
So I'm going to skip some stuff for a second. So how did you end up on the East Coast? Like, I mean, because have you wrestled out west at all?
I wrestled one time out west, and you could probably find it on the High Spots Network. I wrestled at stage at a wrestle reunion is what they called it back in the day.
Sure.
So I wrestled him in 2012 in LA. My parents, my dad and my stepmom were there, so they got to see that. Oh, cool. And in the middle of our match, Vader decides to come out and proceeds to whip both of our asses. So,
wow. Was that an honor?
Oh yeah, man! I got to square off with Vader, and even before going out there, you know, I'm standing in Gorilla, and Mike Tyson was just walking back to the back because they just did a segment with Mick Foley. Oh, wow. And somebody else. Mike Tyson walks back to the back, you know, like, and I'm standing right there. He hands out, he puts the fist out to pound my fist, and I dab up Mike Tyson, and
wow,
like, yo, there I go. I'll go out.
That's one of those like people that just a very, very, very percentage ever have that interaction with Mike Tyson.
Yeah, it's kind of surreal because it's like, yo, that's Mike Tyson. Oh, but I gotta go out here right now, you know.
I felt that on a lower level. I met Bo Jackson one time, and that's like I felt like, wow, like this is like not even a human being, you know, that I'm getting to meet.
If Bo didn't get hurt, then we'd probably be talking about him in the same vein as Mike.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, back to your family. Is anyone in your family bigger than you are? Height-wise.
I'm the oldest.
Okay.
I have 2 brothers and a sister. I'd say I'm the biggest out of all of them for sure.
Were your parents, tall?
My dad's 6 foot.
Okay.
My mom, she's about 5'5", 5'6".
Okay.
So,
did your brothers know the pecking order? Like, as the oldest brother, the biggest one, did they know not to mess with you?
Yeah, they know the deal.
Oh, okay, yeah.
For sure. They know the deal.
So, when you entered high school, were you like expected to like play basketball or football?
No, not really. Like in high school, I enjoyed playing basketball and enjoyed playing football, just like any other kid. Sure. And obviously at that time, I enjoyed wrestling. That was the peak of the Attitude Era. So, I was every day, every Monday.
Yeah.
hurry home from school and watch Monday Night Raw. And then, then that was the tail end of when Nitro was good. So, like,
yeah, totally.
So, I mean, I wasn't really watching Nitro as much in high school. But in middle school, I was. But high school, I was, WWF, Raw, SmackDown. It was destination TV for me.
Did you have friends that watched with you?
Or yeah. We used to. So, I played football. And so, what we used to do after, like, every Monday after practice, because that was our longest practice anyway.
Okay.
First practice of the week, full pads, getting ready for the game on Friday, all that stuff. So what we used to do after practice is on the way in the locker room area, not inside, but like outside, we'd have like a battle royal, a Royal Rumble. And
wow.
This is a little partition. And it's not like high or anything, and then we're being safe with each other, but like we're in there goofing off, trying to throw each other over the partition, and it was fun stuff. We used to do that every Monday. I remember a friend of mine when I first started playing football. That's when WWF Rock or Attitude came out, or Raw.
Okay.
Raw came out on the PlayStation 1.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So I remember our first practice, we're sitting in line doing warm-ups, and I'm talking about, I can't wait to play, Raw or whatever, Raw's War. And dude next to me is like, yeah, man, I got it. And I was like, oh, word? He's like, yeah, if you want to come over here and practice, we can play. And I was like, so yeah, because we had another practice later on. So when we were there, played Raw's War, had a blast. Then went on back to practice, man. That's
how it was.
Yeah, that's
Do you still play video games?
I do. I just started getting back into the WWE games.
That's what I wanted to ask you. Have you made yourself?
Back in the day, I used to always, before I started wrestling, I used to always make my character.
Yeah, you have to.
But then as I started wrestling, I stopped. I just fell off playing the games.
Yeah.
And so I would see like some people would create me and I'd go look at the download. Oh, that's pretty cool. Because like they took the time, and that's time consuming, man, to go out there and create somebody and get it down to as close as you can. Like for me, like I can't, like I don't have that time anymore. So it's it's really hard. Yeah, it is, man. So one of my buddies, he had his Xbox 360 and he had a 2K16, and so I think that was the last one with GM mode on there, or mode. So I was like, man, I'm gonna do a tournament, and then whoever wins these titles, these are the titles I'm gonna use. I'm gonna use these titles. I'm gonna do a tournament to crown these champions, and then I'm gonna start my universe mode. So I'm doing that right now. I'm doing the World Heavyweight Title Tournament.
Oh, nice.
And right now I'm in the Final Four, and it's come down to Big Show, Mark Henry, Booker T, and Cesaro.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I don't play it. I simulate it. I let them.
Totally.
Yeah, I just watch it. Let them, I just watch it, let it play out.
You set everything up, and they do it.
Yeah, I let it play out, and then, because the AIs are predictable, so
totally.
Let it do its thing. And so whoever's my champion, that's what we're going in with, and I'll plug in people who are,
oh, wow.
I got a little group chat that I'm telling you, man, this is who won this match and this time. And so, man, it's getting after the nitty gritty.
So you had a baby obviously you didn't have the baby, but your baby came into your life in January. Are you? Is the baby sleeping through the night at this point?
She's just starting to sleep through the night. I want to say, probably within the last week or so. Lately, she week or 2 weeks. She's been sleeping through the night. So
that's great.
Thankfully, because
seriously, that.
Yeah, she's normally me and my girlfriend, we'd be on the edge, making sure that, okay, she's asleep, is she good, she gonna wake up for a bottle, and then one night, we're sleeping for a few hours, and then, still wait a minute, she's You check, make sure she's still sleeping.
Yeah, totally.
Well, all right, she's good. And then, go back to sleep. So now she's sleeping through the night, thankfully. And
that's great. It took 8 years for my oldest son to sleep through the night. It was an 8-year nightmare. But,
wow.
So I'm glad that things are progressing. But so the reason I went back to ask you about your daughter is, so you don't have a ton of time to play video games anyways, especially with that. So
right. I come home from work, my shoot job, I came home. My girlfriend, she works from home, so she don't get off till 5 as well. So
okay,
I come home, and we have her office is like our workout area. As well. So I'll wait till she gets done, and then I'll work out a little bit later. But yeah, I'll go in there. I'll play with her, play with my other daughter, or my bonus daughter.
Yeah.
My bonus daughter.
Sure.
Talk to her, ask her how her day was, and then that's when I'll play the video game.
Sure. How old is your stepdaughter?
Yeah, she's 9.
Oh, okay. Cool. So you can really interact. You can talk.
Oh, yeah. She's into the Fortnite and all that stuff. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she's good to go.
And I was going to ask this later on anyways, but I'll ask now. Is your girlfriend like wrestling? Prior to meeting you, I mean.
Well, it's funny because her daughter was the one that was got her into it, because she had brought her to a show.
Okay.
She brought her to CWF. And obviously I was on the show, and then it just it kind of started from there. We didn't really speak there. It was the social media way.
Yeah, sure.
Started talking that way, and then went on a date, and
So she knew what she was getting.
I think she did, but
as far as she knows your profession.
Yeah, I try to be like, hey, this wrestling thing, this is real time consuming, so we need to maximize the time that we spend with each other, because the rest of my time I gotta try to
Is that hard?
It's hard, man. It is.
Especially when kids come into the picture, I imagine.
It is hard. I've had to, normally I train 3 days a week. I've had to sacrifice a day just so I can make sure, that I'm home. Here and things like that. But that doesn't really it doesn't really irk me too much, because especially since we got the workout equipment here, it's okay, I can get a workout in.
Yeah, without, sure. Anywhere you can get it, I guess.
Yeah. So it's an adjustment, but if two adults are willing to make those compromises and be open and willing to those adjustments, then you have a good partnership.
Yeah, as long as you have a good. Does the 9-year-old help out with the baby?
Oh yeah, she helps.
Oh, great.
Yeah, she does help. Yeah,
that's another bonus. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, at what point did you say, you know what, I think I'm gonna pursue becoming a pro wrestler? Was that in high school?
Well, I did in high school. It's funny because in high school, my dream, I wanted to wrestle, but I love basketball. That's probably my other passion is basketball. So, I wanted to be a basketball coach. I knew I wasn't going to be a player. I knew I wasn't going to be a NBA player or anything like that.
Yeah.
I felt like I knew the game enough to be a coach on some level, whether it was coaching kids, coaching middle school, high school.
Yeah, working your way up.
Being an assistant, on college, or an assistant in high school,
Yeah.
Just the love of basketball and wrestling are probably my 2 most favorite things in the world.
Wait, so are you a Lakers fan?
Die hard.
Oh, okay. So was this last week a little painful?
You know what? I'm just glad. I'm just glad it's over, because we hobbled into the playoffs. It was just LeBron wasn't fully at 100%. AD, he was in and out. You could tell obviously he wasn't healthy because he didn't really play a whole.
No.
Yeah. So. And then, our guard play was just not where it needed to be. And then just some of the guys that needed to step up just didn't step up. And
well, it'll be an interesting offseason because I remember when the playoffs started and my son asked me who I thought. I said, well, I think the Lake, even though where they were seated, I'm like, oh,
right. I thought so too. I was like, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, they're a playoff team. They're veterans. They know when to turn it on.
Yeah.
But that was I felt bad because I'm from Chicago, so I've been following Anthony Davis all these years. I felt so bad for him. I'm like, I was like, he's gonna go out and get injured again, like make it worse. They have to kind of at a certain point say that he's not even 30 yet. We gotta be careful with this guy.
Exactly. Are you a Bulls fan?
I'm a Bulls fan, unfortunately. Yeah.
All right, respect, man, because there's a lot of people. Look, there's a lot of people. When the Bulls won in the '90s, they was on the bandwagon, and then and then when that Bulls dynasty broke up, it got real quiet. A few of my friends, they were still rooting for the Bulls, so I was like, all right, cool. But then that team with Kirk Heinrich and Ben Gordon and Luol Deng. There wasn't really a star on the team, but y'all were winning games.
Yep, totally.
And then but then you got Arik Royal, and then all the Bulls fans came back. So
no one stuck around when Brent Barry was our best player,
Right.
But then Derrick Rose comes in the picture.
Cornell David.
Yeah, totally, Cornell David or Jared Tarlac. There was a host of international guys. So were you going to play? Did you play basketball after high school?
No, I just kind of played pickup ball.
Sure, okay.
That's kind of my thing. Yeah, when I was in the military, and that's how I ended up over here. Anyway, I was in the military, and
okay.
And I played rec league in the military as well, and I was the coach of the team and things like that. So I got to do some of that, a little bit of that on that level, And
did you remember how old were you when you could dunk for the first time?
It was late, man. I was about 18.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was 18. It took me a while. It took me a while to get up because I've always been a bigger guy. But I've been pretty athletic. I mean, as my matches show. So, just with it was when I was getting in shape for the military. That's probably when I was getting in my that's probably when I was in my best shape. So I would say 18 is when I was.
When did you know you were going to be in the military?
Actually, my senior year. So my stepmom, she was a recruiter for the Air National Guard. So she gave me all the ins and outs, what I needed to do in order to prepare and get ready for basic training and things like that. Because I had the grades to go to college, but I would have I didn't in high school. I wasn't proactive enough as far as looking for school or looking for grants and scholarships. That's how I was gonna I wasn't gonna go on a full ride academically or athletically. So he was looking for those grants or going to community college. And for me, I just didn't want to. I didn't want to feel stuck in my town.
Sure.
Be stuck there for the rest of my life. So, going to the military was a good option for me because it helped me. I mean, I was in the South. I mean, it didn't help me travel too much, but it helped me get away from the West Coast and actually appreciate, the things that you have around you or you did have around you.
Yeah. Had you ever been to the Southeast before, on a vacation or anything?
Well, my family ties are very rooted in the Southeast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my grandfather, his family's from Arkansas. My grandmother, her family is from Mississippi, the Jackson area.
Okay.
And then my other grandma, my dad's mom, her family is from Georgia.
Oh, wow.
And then my dad's father, his family is from Florida. And if you ever heard of the Rosewood massacres or the Rosewood.
Yes, I think I have.
With Ving Rhames and John
Yeah,
Boyd.
totally.
So that movie my great grandfather is like, I won't say it's based off of him and his life, but he was that around that time. That's when he lived in Rosewood around that time. Like,
my God!
Like, yeah, he was like one of the predominant. Yeah, so yeah, man. Like when my dad told me that, yeah, it's wild. Like he told me that.
Blow your mind.
Yeah. So yeah, like I have a lot of ties down here in the South.
So do you have relationships with these people? As in, like you knew you were going across the country, but at least I have family there.
Well, when I was younger, when I would travel with my grandmother and my grandfather, like I would travel out here with them to see that part of the family. I haven't really kept in too much touch with them since then. It's like touch and go here and there.
Sure.
But the reason I moved to North Carolina was because my mom and my stepdad, they were staying out here, and my stepdad's grandmother, so my great grandmother, she lived out here in Burlington.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, and so instead of me going back to Cali, I just came out here. You know,
it's fun.
And as a kid, you know, like I said, as a kid growing up, watching basketball and watching especially 90s hoops,
the
Sonics and the Hornets. He was like, well, hey, you know, the Hornets always, you know, I didn't mind them too bad. And like Charlotte, North Carolina, you know.
Yeah.
And then also I thought about it too, because that's when I was really back heavily into wrestling. I was like, well, you know, Charlotte, you know, horseman country, like country, you know, like why not? And like if I wanted to start wrestling, I said if I actually give it a go at training and to be a wrestler, then I know, you know, there's got to be somewhere in North Carolina to go. So.
Oh yeah. Did you at what point were you in the military when you decided that you wanted to do that?
Yeah, pretty much. Me and a very good friend of mine. He's actually on Twitter. It goes by Grizzly Gray Fitness. He's been like probably my oldest friend. I've known him since 2004, and the reason we bonded was because of wrestling. He came in like he had just moved into the barracks, and I remember he was like, "Yeah, man, y'all want to come out and chill, whatever." And me and another buddy of mine. He was like, "You want to come out and chill? You know, you're more than welcome to." And then, we were just being cordial and welcome him to the place and everything. And so we went over there, and he opened up he had like a drawer full of DVDs, and all I saw was wrestling. And I was like,
cool.
"Oh snap!" I was like, "Dude, you got that one? I got this one." And that's how the friendship started. We've been friends ever since.
Oh, that's cool. That's a great way of like how the seed was, started, like just like that.
Based off that, the next week we're watching Raw together. So
did the two of you talk about like, oh, it'd be cool one day if pursued pro wrestling?
Yeah, because he worked with the guy that actually was he did like wrestling out there in the South. Went to one of the shows. I mean, it was what it was. I mean, it wasn't anything spectacular, but that's how much we enjoyed wrestling. There was actually a little promotion that ran like right up the road outside of the base. It was probably like maybe 15, 20 minutes outside of the base down the road, and it was called APCW. And actually, that's where I met Bill Dundee.
Really?
There, yeah. And Doug Gilbert was there, and so
wow.
Yeah, man. So it was like
it's random.
Yeah, man. Like it was wild. Like, dude, Bill Dundee. I was like, dude, I remember you with Steven Regal in WCW.
Yeah.
And, as time goes on, you remember, he was a star down because Memphis, where I lived at, Memphis was like 2 hours away.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't that bad of a hike. Like I was Memphis. I was like 45 minutes from Tuscaloosa.
Okay.
So like an hour and a half from Birmingham. So I wasn't really like too far gone. Like if I wanted to go to Memphis for the weekend, it's like driving. Like now it's driving to Charlotte.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like my buddy, he's from Memphis. His family's from there. So
okay.
Oh,
okay. Cool.
Yeah. Stay at his parents' house, and then I I actually watched WrestleMania 22 in Memphis.
Oh, really? I went to WrestleMania 22. That's the only one I ever, because it was in Chicago.
Yeah, for sure.
What did I? Oh, this one I wanted to ask you real quick. Is barbecue food? Is the barbecue really good in Memphis? Like even better than like? Do you have Sticky Fingers out there in where you live? A place called like some barbecue joint.
I've heard of it. I think we might have a few out here.
Okay.
I'm not too sure, but I've heard of Sticky Fingers.
Okay, so is Memphis barbecue really good?
It is.
Okay.
It is. It's bar none some of the best barbecue I've ever had in my life.
I live about 7 hours away, but I think about it all the time. Just going there just for the day, sleep over, and come back.
And you have so many choices because there's so many places out there that sell good barbecue. Me and my buddy, we normally go to Corky's.
Okay.
The Corky's barbecue.
Okay.
And, they got some pretty, their stuff's on point, man.
Okay, so how do you find a trainer?
So how do I find a trainer? So, like I was saying, when I first moved out to North Carolina, the Vengeance pay-per-view, Vengeance 06, where DX got back together and they faced.
Oh yeah.
So that was in Charlotte, and I had just before I got out, I just happened to see, if there was a pay-per-view coming up or one in the area or whatever. And, I had the money at the time to get tickets. So I saw that it was in Charlotte. And my brothers, they were still in school at the time. So I was like, man, I'm going to surprise them with these tickets. And so moved out here. And like a week later, we went to Vengeance. And drove down there, was standing in line. R-Truth walks by us. I think he was still in TNA at the time.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Walks by us, saying what's up to everybody. not literally what's up, but
yeah.
Everybody. And so I'm standing in line. I was like, I gotta. If I have to drive to Charlotte, I'll do it. I guess to start training. And this guy turned around and was like, hey man, he's like, where do you live at? And I told him, I live in Burlington. And he was like, they got a wrestling promotion in Burlington. And I was like, really? Like, little ass Burlington, North Carolina? Are you serious? And so when he said that, my first thought was, little town in North Carolina, it's got to be some outlaw blood show type wrestling.
Yeah, like if you hadn't heard about it.
Right. So I said, you know what? I remember he's like, yeah, check it out. It's like CWF Mid-Atlantic. And I said, all right, I'm going to check it out. So pay-per-view, it was great, good time, brothers have fun. As soon as we got home that night, I log on the computer, I Google CWF Mid-Atlantic. I type it, I go on to YouTube, and I see, they have images of the year. The first things I see is Jeff Hardy coming out, and he gives I think he gives Brad Stutz a twist of fate.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, the Hardy boys are here? Okay, that's a good start,
Yeah.
I'm watching their stuff, and I'm like, okay, this stuff's actually looks legit. It looks quality type stuff. And one of the last things I saw was Rick Converse, who had just won the AWA World Championship at the time. That's when the AWA was still trying to do something.
Yeah.
And Rick Converse won the title. And so I was like, oh, they got an actual world champion. I was like, I know the AWA is it wasn't as what it was, but I was like,
still the AWA.
Yeah, this guy's trying to bring it back to where it needs to be. So, and so next morning I email the CWF, and I get an email back, and he's like, yeah, this is where it meet at, And so,
did he ask when they emailed you back? Did they ask you any questions like, how big or how small are you, or?
Well, what they told me was he's like, we're gonna when you get here, you fill out a questionnaire, and it was it's at the time, I forgot how much it was for the initial meeting. It was I think it may have been $25 just for the meeting.
Oh, okay.
because he's taking time out of his day to drive up there.
Yeah.
And like, a lot of times, he even explained to me, a lot of times you'll get people to come up there and they're pretty much wasting your time. So what better way,
Yeah.
My time? Look, I made $25 off of you. So now at least I get to go home.
Exactly.
I can make it home, go get something to eat if I need to go get something to eat, So, back to the story, I email them. They email me back the next day. And so I'm trying to find the place. Like, I don't know where the place is. I have the date and time. I'm like, all right, get ready to go. I go out here. I get lost. I don't know where the place is at. And I get I'm so distraught. I'm so hurt because this is something I really, really want to do. I didn't want to make a bad first impression. So I emailed them. I apologized. I was like, man, I'm so sorry about that. And, Jeff was very understanding. And so, I started working. I found another job because I was working third shift.
Okay.
And I told myself if I was going to do this, then I wanted to jump both feet in. I didn't want to half-ass it. I wanted to get all my effort into this because this is something I really wanted to do.
Sure.
And then just by watching documentaries and things like that, it's like, you have some people watch that stuff and they're like, oh, well, they're not going to do that type of stuff no more. But, some people watch that stuff is like, yo, these people take their craft and take what they do very seriously.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go in there and waste their time because I want to take this serious.
Exactly.
And so fast forward 2 years later, I find a new job. I work first shift. As soon as I get that job, I email them again. We set up a date to go back to the place. This time, I go a day early. I MapQuested a was it MapQuest? I think MapQuest is still out at the time. Maybe.
Yeah, probably.
GPS was just making its way through.
But
anyway, I MapQuested. I go there the day before. I find out where it's at. I'm like, all right, now I know where it's at. And it actually wasn't too far from my house. I was like, we're good to go.
Were you shocked? Like, how did I never see this place?
I was shocked, but at the same time, I wasn't shocked because it was in this little, plaza.
Okay.
Like this little building next to a bunch of other buildings.
It didn't look like anything.
Yeah, so I get there early. Everything. I'm waiting. Yeah.
Had you ever been inside a wrestling ring at that point?
I had. So when I was 14. My dad, one time, he had took me to this promotion in California, in San Bernardino, called EWF. And he took me up there and he talked with their trainer. And the trainer actually let me do a session with them. But he was very pick and choose. Okay, show you how to do this. Show you how to do that, but when they do this, you got to sit out and watch, whatever. Oh, it's totally fine. I was just happy to be there, really.
Yeah.
And so that was the first time I stepped in the ring, and it's kind of funny because that night I wrestled Vader, that was the same ring because they were the ones that were in the ring. So it was the same ring, and I was like, "That's pretty awesome." So
yeah, that's really cool because it makes for a real good story.
I want to thank you because. You were the first person that let me step into wrestling.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, man, it was pretty cool.
So did you think you were physically ready for your first day of training?
No. Okay. I did not. But I remember, the one thing I got to give Jeff and Danny credit for because they were always upfront and honest with me. And I feel like they're upfront honest with pretty much whoever they were speaking to. So, they told me, man, not a lot of people are going to be successful in wrestling. You got to put in a lot of time. You're going to lose more money than you make and all this other stuff. And, for me, I was totally ready and willing to accept that. And as you see, 13 years later, I'm still, trying to chip away at it because I feel in my heart, I know that I can wrestle on a higher level and I can perform on a higher level. So, I'm still trying to chip away and then trying to crack away at that one opportunity to do that. So,
Is that like constantly hanging over a pro wrestler's, their head about like get to the top? Like, is it stressful?
It is, man, because like especially when you see a lot of your peers like being successful, and it's like you're totally happy for them, like 100%. But it's like, okay, if I know he's at this level, I know she's at this level, and they're doing it and they're killing it. And I was like, if I just get my foot in the door and get an opportunity, I know I can do the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is stressful, man, and
I can imagine.
Yeah, and like not even to add on to the fact being African American in wrestling,
sure,
it makes things just as tough, So it's like it's good to see guys out there now, guys like, especially out here, like Darius Lockhart. Like he's one of those, like, I remember when like a lot of these guys first started and they didn't really know who they were. And then now you like you could tell they want to get better and work at their craft. And as you can see now, things are starting to pay off for them because they're starting to get recognized a little bit more. They're starting to get more opportunities at other places. And that's because, number one, Darius found himself, and number two, he what he is, that's him. He believes that. Yeah. And so you got to also kind of consume yourself into your character too. So a lot of people have trouble doing that. They feel like, oh, I can let all my in-ring work do the talking. Yeah. And now, and like, even if you look at back in the 80s and the 70s, that still didn't, like, that it would help, but that didn't bring the people into the building.
Yeah, exactly.
Your character work brought people into the building. Yeah, we know Ric Flair is one of the greatest of all time, but we weren't going to the Greensboro Coliseum if just off a cold match, just off like Ric Flair, like we could go in there off of a cold match, just the straight this match is no build up. But the crowd, what would the crowd be like? Versus Ric Flair and Dusty going back and forth every week, building up that big live event. So then when you go to that live event, you got fans, you got old ladies trying to swing their canes at Ric Flair and the Horsemen. You got riots breaking out. Look at Memphis wrestling, Oh,
that's for sure.
Example, like Lawler would start a riot. Like those guys could start a riot on
those were crazy
TV,
matches.
And then they start a riot on TV. Those people are going to show up to the Mid-South Coliseum that Monday.
Yeah.
They're going to be ready, and they're going to be ready to go, man. And that is like, you see some people like Effie. He's very good at bringing cutting a promo and drawing a crowd into the building. You know what I'm saying? Because in that way, you're still working hard, but you're not working as hard as you would have to. Because you've already talked to people into the building. Now they're here. Now they're ready.
And now you wrestle.
Whatever you guys do, you guys are in control of that.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
That it's seeping out right now, indie wrestling. You see it a lot, which is good. But also, there's some people out there that, like I said, they just think, I'm going to let my in-ring work and all my spots do my talking. And, like, that's not, like, it's like that, the thing that people fail to realize with that is there's a bunch of other people doing the same thing.
Yeah,
so what's going to make you stand out from that?
Yeah,
but I mean, is it like Kenny Omega does the V-trigger,
Yeah.
There's a bunch of people on the indies doing V-triggers. There's a bunch of people on the indies doing super kicks. What makes your super kick any better than the guy that's doing it on TV? What makes your V-trigger any better than the guy that's doing it on TV? If it's not, then you need to try to figure out something else.
Exactly. So was there any part of training that's fun?
Well, for me, it's all fun.
Oh, okay.
I love it. I love training. I love it because you're learning more about yourself. You're pushing yourself to be better, and you're in there. Most of the time, you're in there with guys that are pushing that want that same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if iron sharpens iron, you're gonna have no choice but to better yourself. So, like even like when I first came in, like I had guys like Andrew Everett, had guys like Trevor Lee, I had guys Chet Sterling, Ray Kandrak. When you did like I had guys that were like I look at these guys as like my peers, but also it's like if I can keep up with these guys, especially the age difference, because I'm 7-8 years older than Trevor and Drew. So if I'm able to keep up with them and their pace and do the things that they can do, then I know that I can go out there and hang with anybody.
Yeah.
That's how, and that's why I feel that way. Like I've trained with guys like Roy Wilkins and like, just like the mentality at our, like where we trained at was like, we always wanted to point out, I was like, okay, if you're the first match here, if you go to another promotion out here, like you'll be semi-main or main event at those places. You know what I mean? That's the type of talent, and that's how good I want my guys to be. So we took that to heart. I was like, okay, well, if that's what you want, then you know what? I'm gonna. And just for me personally, I knew what I wanted out of wrestling. I didn't want to be just another guy on the inside. Just another, like, not even just the fear of just being another guy, but the fear of just being another local guy. I just want that. I want the very best for Arik Royal. I want the very best for Eric Dumas. I want the very best for that kid that bawled his eyes out after Bret Hart lost at WrestleMania 12 in the Iron Man match. I want the best for that kid because that was his dream. Ever since WrestleMania 12 was like as a kid, WrestleMania 12 was like, all right, I'm gonna train to be a wrestler, and when I become a wrestler, I'm gonna get my revenge. I'm gonna get revenge for Bret Hart on Shawn Michaels. That was like as an 11-year-old kid. That was my
goal. Sure. And it seemed reasonable.
Yeah, and so I knew, I was like, okay, I can't just go in here, and like I said, I can't go in here and just half-ass anything, or you half-ass it in training, then it's gonna show in the match. And so when you have people that push you and that want the best out of you, some people may take it as, oh, they're being too hard, but I look at it as like, if I'm out here doing it, if I'm out here doing the same thing you're like that I'm telling you to do, then there's no excuse. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So where along all of this do you start thinking about, if I want to play heel or, I want to be a fan favorite? Is it hard doing both?
For me, I wouldn't say it is, because I feel like my trajectory and the way that like I was like brought in kind of helped with that. Because I was brought in as a babyface. I was like the junkyard dog, big, white meat babyface, And so now that part is tough because you don't want to be super rah, especially in this day and age. You want to have some type of edge to you. So, always trying to have that edge about me, or trying to make sure that I don't get stale. Like, as a babyface, I felt like for 8 years, because that's how long I was a babyface. I was a babyface for 8 years, straight.
Okay.
And, like, you can go out there and you're like, okay, especially in your home promotion, like, all right, the crowd's kind of like, they're not really feeling, or they're getting kind of stale on it, so there's something that needs to be changed.
And can you hear that when you're in the ring? Like, can you kind of?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You can hear it and you can feel it.
Okay.
Yeah, like if you like a lot of times as a performer, if you're not paying attention to the crowd, you're not paying attention to the patrons that are paying to see you wrestle, and you're just a lot of times you're just doing it for yourself. Now being like when I became a heel, I started to understand that, okay, my job is to entertain these people. So if I have to look stupid here or there, then that's totally fine.
Yeah.
But I know, like, for a prime example, so when I turned heel, it was seamless because, like I said, so I was told starting off that I would never be a heel. Never.
Who tells you that?
Oh, my trainer told me that.
Oh, okay.
Based off of, and the reason he said that was just based off of his interactions with me, especially early on, and me at training, and me doing things in the ring, and doing drills and things like that. He was like, "Man, you'll never be a heel. Like you're gonna be babyface." And when he first said it, I felt like, "Dang, man, like, but what if I want to be heel at one point?"
Yeah.
But I got to a point where I didn't even think about being a heel. I was just, all right, I'm just gonna go out here, I was an ace guy at that time. I was beast mode, so I was like, go out there, be beast mode, have intensity, take my guy out, and then show a little bit of like wrestling stuff because like my influences were Samoa Joe, Kevin Steen, Kevin Owens. They were big guys that were athletic.
Yeah, they can move.
Like that's like I wanted to have that hybrid style. So you just go out there and I didn't mimic their move for move, but
sure,
their mannerisms and like their intensity.
How they carry themselves in the ring.
Copy, but it was like I could take some of their mannerisms and things that they do and modify it to make it my own.
Yeah.
So, going back to where I was talking about turning heel, it got to a point, like early 2016. I was like, and I looked around in the locker room and I was like, I've worked all these people, and I've worked all these people as a babyface, and there's really storyline-wise, there's really nowhere else for me to go as a babyface. I presented it to the powers that be, and they were like, and finally, my trainer was like, he said, all right, we're good, and I was like, oh, okay. He's like, he's like, you've gotten to the point. Like, I feel like you can pull it off now because I feel like you've been doing this long enough to understand. And we did the slow burn heel turn. Like me and Ray Kandrak lost the tag titles, and then the guys we lost them to, they wanted to shake our hands. Ray shook their hands. I walked out. So then the season was nice. And then right leading into that was the Weaver Cup tournament. Okay. And so going into the tournament, Trevor's the champion. And so it was like, all right, well, that was my focus anyway. I was like, I just lost the belt like a year or so ago. I lost it in controversial fashion. I never got like a fair shot at it again. So I'm gonna get my shot. I'm gonna get my title back by any means. So, the aggressiveness started kicking in more and more each match. And then I got to the finals against Nick Richards, who had his redemption story, and he was trying to, his redemption story. So we were it was kind of like he was already a babyface at the time. And my heel turn was slowly and surely, and it came to a head in that match. So it was like his redemption story, and it's funny because his redemption story started against me. So, oh really? Babyface. He was a heel. And he could tell he was wanting to break away from the group that he was in. So I wrestled him one-on-one. The crowd was behind them. After the match, and I said, see, man, you don't need them people behind you, man. You don't need them. These people already are telling you, and getting ready, and then, they jumped me. But he didn't help me. Then, under a year later, here we are, redemption story. And go out there and I put him over, and instead of me shaking his hand and me being the only two-time Weaver Cup champion, instead of me shaking his hand, I was like, nah, man, that's bogus. I said, I was real jerk about it. I was like, you got lucky. I was like, 99 times out of 100, I beat you. I bopped you forward, but you got lucky tonight. And then Commissioner Cross tried to say something to me, and I grabbed him, and then I got swung around, got cutter, crowd went crazy. I was like, all right, we're off to the races. Nice. And from then on, it was like, for me, it was pretty much easy because it's like, you guys turned your back on me when I was out here defending y'all to a T, fighting losing teeth, busting my ass for y'all, and y'all want to turn your back on me? Okay. Not only that, I'm gonna go with the guy who's been trying to recruit me this whole time, the coach, the most hated man in the company. I'm gonna align with them. So now, what's gonna happen? Like, so now you got no choice. You want to hate me? Now you can really hate me.
So is it refreshing? I have all these new stories to tell with the people that I've already wrestled.
Oh yeah, so refreshing, so refreshing.
Oh, I bet.
So so I wrestled Trevor at Battlecade in 2013, and I was the babyface, and he was the heel. So it's like now him being the champion, and I was the former champion, and at the time the longest reigning champion. I was like, all right, kid. It's like not all right, kid, but it's like, all right, you want to be champion? Like you got to go through me. You know what I mean? That's how I felt. You got to go through me, and so we had the match. And then, crowd loved it. And that's the thing about working especially working with somebody that you respect and you train with. It makes and especially if the crowd has watched you two grow up pretty much in the ring together, there's the stories there. You don't have to overthink anything like that. So, going into that, it's just one of those that was the kickoff point. That was the first match I had as a full-blown heel was against Trevor. And then after that, it was just pretty much off to the races and getting that heat. You guys want to boo me? I'm going to give y'all a reason to boo. You know what I mean? And it is refreshing because not only is that, I get to work with, these, the top baby faces, but then you work with the younger guys and get to teach them and guide them and help them get over because knowing, working with the All-Stars, we're already going to get hated.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're going to get booed. So y'all walk out, you guys are already going to be cheered, you're already going to be favored. I think the only time that they cheered the All-Stars was when Ethan Sharp's group, we ended so I was gone at a show. I was gone to another show. Okay. And it was during the Weaver Cup, the last one we had. And Roy wrestled. I can't remember. I think he wrestled one of them. Okay. But they ended up jumping him after the match. And so I came back. There's a promo on YouTube. I came back and I'm yelling. I was like, I was yelling at them. I was like, oh, y'all think y'all's tough. Y'all want to jump somebody from behind. But guess what? I'm here. I won't be here next week. And now, and made the issue for the tag title challenge. And we won the tag titles. That crowd went nuts. I couldn't believe it. But then we pulled the wool over their eyes, and of course. So Roy turned babyface. I stayed heel, and then so it was it's just this is one of those things. Sometimes it was just easy enough to just walk out there, and that's how I did that action now. I go out there, they're already hating me, man.
You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a ton more questions, but I'm sensing from what I hear in the background, I hear some screaming, it's my kids, that my wife may divorce me. So, so we may have to do a part 2 if that's okay, because I still want to hear all about action and championships and that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But so we'll do a part 2, but before I let you go, can I ask you 5 non-wrestling related yes or no questions? Okay. Sure. Okay. Have you ever worn a large glove where you can snap your fingers and destroy half of all the living creatures on Earth? Have you ever had something like that?
I wish.
Okay. Good answer. Can you? Oh, you know what? You'll be able to answer this one. Can you change a baby's diaper?
Oh yes.
Yeah, easy. Okay, that one's easy. All right. For $1.8 million. Would you forego your current, whatever your religion is right now, and replace it with the teachings of Satan? But you would have to attend meetings and prayer ceremonies and really throw yourself into it. Maybe get a light up pitchfork on your door, in place of a wreath or something.
And everything and all that good stuff.
Yeah, would you do it for 1.8? And you'd really have to sell it. Maybe your girlfriend and kids obviously know why you're doing it, but
No, man, I can't do it, man. I can't.
That's a tough one.
I can't do it.
Okay. Do you believe, this is number 4, just one more after this. Do you believe that Apollo Creed would have put a better fight on against Ivan Drago if he took the fight more seriously during training?
Absolutely.
Okay, good answer. Okay, and then your last question. Is there any circumstance that you could see yourself marrying a robot? Like she looked just like your girlfriend?
Nah.
Okay.
Because, you can't do.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking to find that one person though who could see themselves marrying a robot. So
if just like you said, you think if you don't get out there, you think your wife's gonna kill you.
Yeah, totally.
It'd be good to have a machine like put her on like pause or on.
Yeah.
Or,
it'd be nice to have.
For now.
Yeah, it'd be nice to always have a USB port next to you, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. So Arik, where are you going to be? Where are you wrestling next, and when are you defending the action belt again?
So I will be this Saturday. I will be babyface. Matter of fact.
Nice.
Yes, this Saturday at PWF, June 12th in Jacksonville, North Carolina. Me and my partner Starboy.
Oh, nice.
BK Westbrook. We're still trying to figure out a tag team name. I think we're gonna, there's some out there. He's Starboy, and then I'm the Ace guy. So we're both. I just call it out of this world because we both think we're in like high.
Totally.
So, but yeah, we have a tag team match coming up this Saturday, and then I will be at Action on June 25th, taking on the 6'8" Logan Creed. He's gonna try to take a shot. He's got a title match against your Ace guy. He's been on Twitter counting down the days like that's supposed to intimidate the Ace guy or something. But he'll step in the ring with me, and then for the first time, and then he'll finally realize why I say, and then why the people should say the Ace guy rules. Yeah,
for sure. All right. Well, thank you so much. I'll catch that on IWTV. That's where I've been watching everything.
Yeah. And you'll be able to find PWF. You will be able to find that on IWTV as well.
Awesome.
The last match we had is on there, so you can go on there and look that up. The show is called Masks Aren't Just for Luchadors. So you can check that out. And then, Kobe Carino is on the show. So, you'll see a few familiar faces.
Awesome.
And then, obviously, Action Wrestling, one of the most popular promotions on IWTV.
Really
I guess that makes your Ace guy one of the most popular champions on IWTV.
Yeah, totally.
If you're out there on IWTV or any promotions on IWTV and you don't have one of the most popular champions, then what are you doing, man?
Yeah. I agree. All right. Thank you so much. I'd love to have you on again because I have like a zillion more questions. But until then, I hope you take care and stay healthy, and I'll be in touch for sure.
Yes, sir, man. You too, man. Thank you again, man. This was fun.
My pleasure. Awesome.
Yes,
take
sir.
care. Bye.
Yeah.